Just fucking do it. Eminent domain, baby. Holy, that is so crazy. This is actually a really, really great graph that a chatter brought forward that actually kind of corresponds to the point I'm making in terms of like housing availability, like vacant units versus homelessness. So if you look at like the top 20 cities where you have the highest ratio of vacant homes to people experiencing homelessness, number 1 is Detroit. Number 2 is Syracuse, New York. Number 3 is St. Louis. Okay. Number 4 is Lakeland, Florida. Now, when you look at this ratio of available units to homelessness, okay, you immediately recognize one thing, okay? With the exception of Chicago, Illinois, okay, a lot of these places are places where like industry is left. There used to be life there. There used to be a city there. There used to actively be people living there. Okay. But it's no longer like a very densely populated area. And there's still a shit ton of homelessness there, even though there is a lot of vacant properties. But when you recognize like places like Los Angeles, California don't have that same level of readily available housing in comparison to the number of homeless people, that is 1, because there's a shit ton of homeless people, and 2, not as much readily available vacant housing. So this is why I always say this is a two-parter. There's certain aspects that people immediately cast aside as like NIMBYism or whatever. That is true. There are vacant properties. There are far more vacant properties in this country than there are homeless people. Okay. But in terms of looking at high density urban areas, okay, there needs to be more readily available housing units. That's where a lot of the homelessness happens. And a big part of the reason why there's a lot of homelessness there is a direct consequence of not having higher density housing available. Ultimately, though, this problem completely stems from treating every single homeowner, treating their house as not a place for shelter, but instead a place for shelter and also an investment vehicle. Okay, your house is your asset that you can leverage against. Your house is what you your house is what you borrow money against. Okay, your house is your nest egg. Your house is your retirement. Your house is the only way that you can generate generational wealth in this country. Okay? Do you get it? That is part of the reason why big businesses have been able to completely capture this marketplace, overtake it, and use many of the policies that have been implemented for years and years in an effort to make it easier to purchase a home and keep that home into a system that is fundamentally broken. That's why the idea for a lot of people is that like your value is never supposed to go down. It's always supposed to go up. No one actually treats it like a fucking investment. You get to have your cake and eat it too. In the United States of America, you get to have your cake and eat it too. Your house is your place of shelter, but it's also your capacity to generate generational wealth. So all of a sudden, it's not just shelter, but it's also an investment vehicle. What the fuck? What do you mean? I purchased this house. If the price goes down, you're fucking up my bag. That is the problem. This is why I always say we have to decommodify housing. We have to decouple the idea that housing is a means of generating income, passive income. Because if we were to simply treat it as a mechanism for investment, you'd go, sucks to suck, dog. What do you mean? Like, okay, your value went down. What are we talking about here? Yeah, you made a fucking purchase. You treated it like an investment, and then your investment didn't pan out. Like, that's the name of the game. Why the fuck are you gambling? But of course, you could never say that and win an election. Which is why I advocate for authoritarian measures that aren't necessarily authoritarian on principle, but would be treated as authoritarian by dumbass Americans. For example, if a law passes where you actually do move towards decommodifying housing, you don't have to do town halls on it. if a law passes on a ballot measure, for example, for either rent control or, I don't know, building new additional housing units or building a homeless shelter, and then you don't have to have town halls. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Eminent domain, baby. It's yours. Seize it. Take it. It's yours. Build on it. Get to fucking work. What are we doing? What is this? The democracy part already happened. Why the fuck would you have to go back after the democracy part already took place and then have to deal with some of the most schizophrenic Hitlerite suburbanites that don't want homeless people in the neighborhood? Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Sorry. Everybody else in the neighborhood voted for us. Suck my dick. You can call that authoritarian, but I call that actually doing democracy. Okay? Those homeless will shit on their sidewalk anyways, regardless, Lamal. No, dude. I want those homeless to shit in a bathroom, in a fucking permanent housing unit. Nobody wants to shit on a sidewalk, man. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody wants to shit on a sidewalk. They want to shit in a bathroom, okay? Like even here's the thing. Even animals, feral animals, understand the necessity for shelter, okay? It's like, it's not even like a obviously human need. It is an obviously animal need, you know? What are we doing? God damn, dude. Holy shit.